Welcome back to Team Talk on ESPN Radio 1017 The Team. And we know how many fight fans there are in New Mexico, and I know how many people are going to watch tomorrow's Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor 2 rematch. It's on ESPN Plus. The prelims are on ESPN Plus. The pay-per-view is on ESPN Plus. And joining me now to talk about it, he'll be ringside tomorrow on the call, is Daniel Cormier, the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time. DC, people are still talking about when you came through town not too long ago for the fights out in Rio Rancho. Amongst them, Diego Sanchez was on that fight. Jan Blachowicz was on that card. Your memories of New Mexico, if you would, please, DC.
Just being treated so great, especially with my history with Jones and him being an Albuquerque guy. I got no hate. I got only love. I went to the mall, and the people in the shoe store just showered me with love, and they were all so nice. And then I just also remember Diego Sanchez pulling the ultimate veteran move, when Michael Piedra hit him illegally, and Diego had the awareness and the wherewithal to say, hey, if I can't continue, I win the fight. And then Diego got up and walked to the center and raised his hand up and held his head proud as he won the fight. It was one of the funniest, most aware things I've ever seen an athlete do in the art of competition.
I love it, man. And the fans are going to love hearing that story as well, DC. So tomorrow, Abu Dhabi, you're there. You'll be there ringside tomorrow. These two guys fought. Poirier and McGregor fought back in 2014. It's been 6 years. We talk about rematches in the NFL because the Tampa is playing Green Bay and they had played, in week 6. This has been 6 years. How much of a factor is the original fight going to have in this one?
Joe, it's a lifetime ago. It's an absolute lifetime ago in mixed martial arts. 6 years. All the rules have changed. They fought at featherweight before. They're fighting at lightweight this time. Dustin Poirier isn't as dehydrated. Conor McGregor is now committed to fighting at this weight class for a long time. It was a lifetime ago. But anytime you share the octagon with someone, there is something to that. And you do have to take into consideration the result of that first competition. And in that competition, Conor McGregor won the fight in 40 seconds.
Right. There's no denying that. And that's got to be in the back of Dustin Poirier's mind. But at the same time, he's won 5 of his last 6 fights, DC.
No. And not only that, Dustin Poirier today isn't the same guy. When he fought Conor back in 2014, it was much more nasty, the rivalry. Dustin was a kid that was trying to gain respect. Hey, no one wonders or questions whether or not they should respect Dustin Poirier anymore. Dustin Poirier has been the UFC interim champion. Dustin Poirier has beaten Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, and a number of other great fighters in the lightweight division. Since that first fight, Dustin Poirier has won 10 fights in the lightweight division. So he is a real lightweight contender. He's been here the entire time. He is the type of guy that Conor needs to fight if he's going to show the world that he still belongs at the top of the division. So there's no more fighting and pining for respect if you're Dustin Poirier. You have earned that through all the wins that you have accrued over the course of the last 6 years.
It's Poirier McGregor 2. It's tomorrow on ESPN Plus. The prelims are going to be on ESPN Plus as well as ESPN. Those start around 4:30 Mountain Time. And then, of course, the pay-per-view, the headline fight, Poirier McGregor 2, will be at 8 o'clock Mountain Time here in New Mexico. We are talking to the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, DC, Daniel Cormier. He'll be ringside tomorrow. And have observed McGregor over the years, DC. A lot of times he seems cool, calm, and collected. Is that the way he's presenting himself to you this week in preparation of this event as well?
Conor McGregor seems so confident and sure right now. I mean, I've never seen him more at ease with who he is, not only as an athlete, but just in his life. The young man has 2 children with his fiance. They've got a third on the way. It just seems as though everything is in the right place for Conor McGregor. And because everything's in the right place, he just seems like so on point. You know, he's comfortable with himself. He's comfortable with his surroundings. He's comfortable with just about everything. You know, and I think that's a dangerous proposition for anyone that would be fighting Conor this weekend.
Well, we don't want to jump ahead because, everybody's going to be watching tomorrow night's pay-per-view on ESPN Plus, DC. But you're tight with Khabib. You train with Khabib. Conor McGregor's been calling out Khabib to some degree. Is there any chance that we may see McGregor-Khabib if McGregor gets by tomorrow night?
You know, I don't know. You know, I mean, I really don't know. I don't know what Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to do as an athlete. You know, he's done pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But I do know that if there is a fight, and if he was to compete, you would want to see him fight Conor McGregor because of how big the fight was last time. You know, we're all fans of the big event, of how, you know, we all love bad blood rivalries. I mean, I've been a part of a few of them in my life, you know, so people are drawn to that. And as a promotion, there is no bigger fight for the UFC to make. But ultimately, Conor McGregor will have to do something so spectacular to get Khabib to say, you know what, I want to fight again. I want to compete against this guy, because I feel like Khabib has so many irons in the fire right now that fighting just doesn't seem to be one of the things that he's looking forward to doing right now.
As you mentioned, John Bones Jones, a local guy here, people are wondering what's in store for him in 2021. Your hunch on whether he has a chance to win that heavyweight championship, DC?
You know, I believe the guy's just immensely talented. You know, he's a very talented guy. He's always been. And I do believe that once he's in the heavyweight division, he immediately becomes a contender, a guy that needs to be taken seriously for that championship belt. And I think that the guys in the weight class are very aware of that too. You know, there is never going to be a guy, a Stipe Miocic or Francis Ngannou, that does not take the threat of who John Jones is as serious. So yes, I do believe that there's a chance. But I also believe that he will have to get adjusted to the new weight class. He will have to figure out how he fights these big guys. They're much different. They're much harder. And see what it's like for him, you know, as he goes up and competes against those guys.
Well, you talk about, breaking records and breaking the bank if McGregor and Khabib got into it. Let me tell you this, DC, the things that would really break the bank would be you to come out and take on John Bones Jones, man. What do you think of that idea, DC? I mean, that would break all the records, man.
Everybody, anytime you have a guy that you've had that much of a negative history with, you always want to compete against them. But man, I'm happy now. You know, I feel like at 41 years old, about to be 42, you know, I don't know if I can compete and prepare myself to the right amount in order to compete in the way that I would want in that fight. You know, I think the last fight with Stipe Miocic showed me, and in the preparation, how difficult it was to compete at that level as you enter into your 40s, you know. So it's just a very hard thing to think about when I've got so many things going good in my life right now, to just kind of put everything else back on the back burner to pursue something that has only really brought in, bad vibes and bad blood and all the other stuff that came with the rivalry. So not something that I'm really interested in right now.
I got you.
Actually, I'm never going to be interested in it. I'm 41 years old. I'm about to be 42 years old, man. You know, you can't fight forever.
Amongst those things that you got going good for you is you're like this great commentator that people really enjoy your perspective, because nobody has any of an idea of the perspective that you have. And you're going to be ringside for UFC 257. It's Poirier versus McGregor 2. 4:30 start here in Mountain Time with the prelims on ESPN Plus and on ESPN, and then the Pay-per-view starts at 8 o'clock New Mexico time, and you can go to ESPN Plus in order to make that happen. DC, thank you so much for joining us, from around the world. You'll be ringside tomorrow. I know I'll be watching. And one last thing for the fans to look forward to tomorrow night. What are you telling them to look for, DC, in that big matchup between Poirier and McGregor?
Just a fantastic fight, man. A fantastic fight from two of the best fighters in the world. Two guys that absolutely have the intention of giving them the best fight that they've ever put on. I am so certain that this fight is going to deliver. It's going to be fun, man. I cannot wait. I know it's going to be a great fight. I hope it's evenly matched, and I know these guys will deliver. Tune in. And that's not it. There's some great fights. Michael Chandler makes his UFC debut against Dan Hooker, who's an absolute savage, so we've got some great fights tomorrow. Tune in and just enjoy the fights, the best sport in the world.
Love it. Yeah, tune in early for the prelim. Make sure you get the pay-per-view. It's all at ESPN Plus. Daniel Cormier, it's been a pleasure and honor having you on ESPN Radio here in Albuquerque. We look forward to you coming back to town soon. Thanks again for joining us from around the world, Daniel.
Thank you, my man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. All right. That was Daniel Cormier, DC, joining us on the Daniels Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Cool Take Hotline. All right. When we come back, we've got more on Team Talk, ESPN Radio 1017, The Team.